Hello friends, and welcome to today's video. As some of you may know, fall is baby rattlesnake season, and that means there's a few more hazards out on the trail this time of year. So, today we're going to be talking about 5 tips to avoid rattlesnakes while you're out hiking this time of year. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Alrighty friends, so tip number 1, use your eyes and ears. Obviously, if you're out hiking, especially during snake season, you're going to want to be using all of your senses to keep an eye out for potential hazards on the trail. Keep an eye out for things squirming across that trail. Keep an ear out for things rattling about. That'll be a great way to keep yourself from getting bit out on trail. Obviously, the rattlesnakes, they don't want to inject you with venom. They want to use that venom to go and hunt. They don't want to worry about you. They don't want to eat you. They're just afraid of you. And if you threaten them too much, that's when they strike. So as long as you keep a good healthy distance from them, they're not going to give you any trouble. Alrighty friends, tip number 2 is use a walking stick. Just a couple weeks ago, I did a 1,000 mile review on my black diamond trekking poles that I use for pretty much every single hike. I use them for my whole hike across Arizona, and believe it or not, those puppies have also helped me with a couple of rattlesnakes on the trail. Having a little stick to move things about in front of you without getting right on top of a snake or other hazardous object on the trail can really be a big benefit, and a few extra feet keep you a lot safer when dealing with snakes. So, especially during snake season, use a trekking pole. It might come more in handy than you realize. Alrighty friends, tip number 3. If you can't see your feet, use extra caution. There are a lot of cases where trails will go through a spot with tall grass or some sort of thick vegetation where you can't really see your feet. And especially during the times of year where snakes are out, it's kind of sketchy to go through those areas. Just take your time, use your trekking pole ahead of you, beating some of that brush around, listen for any rattles. Maybe it'll help them clear out of the way. Just use caution in those areas, because if you can't see your feet, you might step on something that doesn't want to get stepped on. If you use that little bit of caution, it could really go a long way. All right, friends, now time for tip number 4. If it's above 80 Fahrenheit out, keep an eye out for snakes. As many of you know, rattlesnakes are reptiles. That means that they're cold-blooded creatures, so they do not make their own body heat. That means that they're really only active above a certain threshold of temperature outdoors, while their metabolism can actually kind of function, give them a little bit more energy. Above that threshold, they're more active. That threshold is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So, if it's above that outside or a little close to that, definitely keep an eye out for rattlesnakes. If it's below that, you don't have to worry as much, because they're either going to be very lethargic or in hibernation during that time of year. So, above 80 F, keep an eye out for those rattlesnakes, okay? Alrighty friends, now time for tip number 5, my last tip for today. In the fall, keep an eye out for baby rattlesnakes. As some of you may know, rattlesnakes are one of the few reptiles that actually give live birth, and the fall is the time for a lot of that to happen. Actually, during my fall through hike a couple years back, I encountered 2 baby rattlesnakes during that hike, and they are very dangerous. But, contrary to popular belief, they will not inject you with more venom than an adult, and they do not have poorer control over the venom over adults. Most of the time, adult rattlesnake bites are more severe than baby rattlesnake bites. But I think that baby rattlesnakes have a little bit more danger than just their venom. Because they're youthful, they don't have very many of those little nodes on the back of their tail that actually make that rattling sound. When they first pop out of the womb, they only have 1 or 2 of those. And that doesn't make that very noticeable, aggressive, rattling sound that is so indicative of a rattlesnake. And In both the cases, when I was on my thru hike, it was a very windy day, and those little guys were rattling with all they got, and it just sounded like some leaves rustling in the wind or some grass kind of blowing around. So that's where baby rattlesnakes are a lot more dangerous. During the fall, really keep an eye out. You won't be able to hear those little ones as well as you will the big ones. So it's so important to use your eyes over your ears in the fall especially. All right, friends, those were my 5 tips for avoiding rattlesnakes out on trail. If you learned something or you liked this video, please leave a like down below. It will help us grow this channel and get some more people snake safe. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button down below. We're getting so close to 1,000 subscribers here on Trail Time, and it would mean the world to me to hit that milestone. So please leave your support there. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you. I'll see y'all in the next video. Stay groovy.